All right, getting my stuff all set. Trying to get my lives. My kids are home today. I look rough. It's been a weekend. We are going to be having so much fun today. I'm going to get started on the eye cream while we wait for people to pop up from my Monday live. I'm a little bit late. Not going to lie, I sat in bed too long. Sat in bed too long getting emails ready to go out for this new collection I can finally talk about. It's the final quarter of it's the last of the quarterly collections, which is so fun. So last year there was an advent calendar and they said they weren't going to do this, but they did. It trips my trigger a little. I was hoping it would be new colors, but whatever. And they released them in quarterly collections. Good morning. Good morning, Pam. Hi. All right. Hello, Lisa. Hello, Jeannie. All right. I am creating my email for the launch day of this new collection. So Through the Woods is the name of the collection, and it's beautiful. And it is the final of the quarterly collections. And with that is, it's just fun. And it's the same palette too that's been coming out. Hello, Alice. Good morning. I love when people start saying, hey. I love my YouTube lives. You guys are the most active out of everybody. So it's this palette with that half-size cleaning tile like it always does. But what's nice is they do let these be individual sale because I don't think this one is going to check everyone's box. But I'm going to do a fun little look today. It's one I've been doing all week. There, I will be releasing a short on it, so maybe I'll change it a little bit because I do have a video of this look, but I kind of want to punch it up. Right now, I should talk about, maybe it's right now. I think it is. It is. It's going right now. It's part of the perks. So when you buy, hello, Anne. When you buy Beauty Society, which is the skincare I use, I had somebody asking me, what is it I need? Honestly, when you take a quiz, this is what I like about the Beauty Society, which is this little wand I'm using. If you spend $1.99, you get this for free. So if you're looking for a new skincare, I love the skincare. It's the one that my skin has told me it likes at first time ever. And my makeup lasts better when I use my skincare. My regimen is my don't skip. If I skip my serums, my skin tells me. If I skip my lotion, my skin tells me. There is a product called Revival, and it's almost like a boost. I'm trying to see if I even have it here. Yeah, it looks dark and jelly. This is a travel size, but you can get it in a full size, and then it comes with refills at a discounted price. You can even buy the refills. It's just your regimen, I think. But if you get a regimen, it's typically gonna get you a free one of these, especially if you get some add-ons. I have a hard time picking something I can't skip because the regimen itself, I can't skip a product. I added Revival and it gave it an extra boost, and I can tell when I skip it. So there's that. They did just come out with some refill tubes, and I just made an order this morning because there is a collection coming out that's it looks so pretty, and I'm excited. It's a lip collection for the holidays, but Beauty Society, I'm not going to say it sucks, but it does suck that they don't give us an actual timeline of when things are coming. It bothers me. I want to know that when I'm sharing something, I can tell you when it's available. Like, is it Black Friday? Is it going to be in December? Like, I want to know. And I hate that they tell us the day before, sometimes right when it's happening. I don't like that at all. So, happy Monday. Monday. I don't know. I love adding yay to things, but it's the holiday season and all the good stuff is starting to roll out, and I'm so pumped. So if you're part of my email list, I want you guys to put it in the comments. Like, tell me if you're on my email list. Tell me if you got the email that went out at midnight. And I don't know if people understood my Easter eggs I was laying out in my Facebook group, but they directly correlated to my email, and I want to know if people noticed. Desiree, you should have seen it. Good morning, Desiree. Happy Monday. Okay. We are going to do our makeup today. I've done my eye cream. My hair's slicked back. I did a Girl Scout camp out, and it was probably the hardest camp out I've ever done out of all of them I've done. All right. Oh my gosh, I have Activate, which I think is the product of the month. Oh! Sorry, I just got distracted. Squirrely. Okay. We are doing our makeup. I'm going to be using the new collection. So today's the first day I am allowed to talk about this. Hello, Lisa. Okay, what is what? My cup, my upgrade. This is a caffeinated eye cream, if this is what you were talking about. It has a metal toe end, doe foot end, and this just helps with lymphatic drainage as you're massaging, and this stuff just hydrates the heck out of your under eyes. So if you have maturing under eyes, this is a really good one. If you have mature under eyes, it's a really great product to have. Okay, you got my email overnight. Did you catch anything in it? You'll know what I'm talking about. Um, because there are things I do for my customers. So I hope you found the trees entertaining. All right, so this is the Through the Woods. This is what I'm able to talk about as of today. Okay, I haven't put it in my Facebook group. I haven't put it on my reels today. This is the first look. Here is the Through the Woods. You get this palette, you get a half-size cleaning tile, and then these are the colors in it. Now, this is the color where I feel like it might stop people, so you can buy these individually. Great illuminator, great on the Cupid's bow, on the nose. It's very pretty. Okay. And then we have this one. This is called Woodland. I love this color because it's well pigmented. It's easy on, and it's a soft shimmer, so you can use it on your lids. And I think if you have really mature lids and you have a hard time with those high flex shimmers, this is a really great brown for your lids. And so that's what we're going to be using today. I'm going to use all three of them because I want you to see the way you can use them as an everyday. And then I'm going to show you that turquoise as that extra pop. It can be really subtle or it can be really punchy. It's a hard one to pick up is why. This one reminds me almost of Atlantic. I wanted it to be more like Bayou, but this reminds me of Atlantic. So it is turquoise here, but then when you put it on, it goes on really sheer, almost like flurry. So it's a sheer, but if you scuff it up and you use a balm of some kind, you can scuff it up really well, and then you can also make it extra punchy. So it can be two things. So just keep that in mind. And so yeah, I hope you got my trees, Desiree. I'm waiting to see if you tell me if you saw the trees. Okay. It's one of those things I had to be very careful about. All right, so let's dig in. We're going to start with the eyes because I always start with my eyes, especially with darker colors like that woodland color. And we're just going to be using, this is Singen's Shadow Sense, and it's a great primer. I don't know if it's going on sale. I have to actually talk to my friend because I don't sell Singen's. All right, and we are going to put this on the lid, and this is going to help with, I just have discoloration on my lids, veins. Right now I've got some bruising, but I have darkness on my lids, and this helps give me just a really great blank canvas. And this is me putting it on when it's almost empty and it's well pigmented. And then I'm using a Beauty Society brush. I hope they do a discount on this. Is the Oval Fluff brush. Really great for pressing out and prepping your lids. I like having a separate brush that's just for lid prep. And this just, I'm spreading this from lash to brow, and this cancels all that discoloration. So push it onto that inner corner along the lash line because I use a lash serum, and those typically create lid discoloration, but it's also going to go over that little bit of bruising I have. And then I can get going, and then we can use eyeshadows to prep with. I'm going to use Cupcake. Last week I guess I didn't mention my prep color. So Cupcake is usually what I use. I'm pretty fair skin. I don't know if you did this enough. You might want to do that enough. Anyways, that's right. All right, we're going to put Cupcake on. This is going to give us a powder surface. Powders really blend well with powders, and it also helps with covering. Sometimes when you're using a primer, it depends on the primer. Every primer is a little bit different. They can create some tack, and when you put on a darker tone, it'll stick, and then it becomes a dot that's kind of hard to blend, which is why prepping with a neutral color or a bright color, brighter colors are going to punch up and really show the colors you're putting on. So some people like to tell me that when they put on all the different shades, what happens is that they say they all blend together. Maybe try a bright base like Cupcake. All right, we're gonna go into Flurry, and I'm gonna use that as my brow color. It's pretty, I'm actually gonna use both. I'm gonna do Flurry first, and I'm gonna put that on this brow, and it just creates a really soft shimmer right here. Okay, and then I'm gonna go into Wintergreen or Winterberry. Is it Winterberry? I believe. Yes, wait. It's Wintergreen. I've been writing Winterberry on everything. Okay, and then we're gonna put that up here. It doesn't turn you green. It's just gonna have a little bit more of a gold shimmer to it. But it's not turning me green. Maybe a little on that bruise, but that's okay. And then we're gonna go into some shadows. And I'm gonna make sure I'm using available shadows. Eyeshadows are fun. So what I'm using is Saint Makeup. I'm hoping on Black Friday that some of these shadows will go on sale. Typically what happens is we have a holiday release with new products, and those come out on the 18th. I'm able to talk about them on the 14th, but there will be hints that you'll see around, and that should be your giveaway. But you can customize everything with Saint. This is something I don't see a lot of. So we have our matte eyeshadows here. We have our shimmer shadows here. Some are missing because they're in places. And then here are pressed pigments. And the pressed pigments, to me, work just as well as the mattes. Some of the mattes pick up better. But these are pressed pigments. They're a little bit more bold of the color, whereas our mattes are a little more of our neutral family. And I feel like that's the only difference between the two, is one's neutral, one's bold, and that's it. Application-wise, I feel like they're kind of the same. Okay, I'm gonna go into a brush. I'm gonna use the smudge brush. If you are looking to add brushes to your collection, I push for you to wait for Black Friday because they do sometimes discount certain brushes. Sometimes they bring back discontinued brushes. I don't know yet. They haven't told us. Okay. I just think you need to scroll more. Okay. Just think you need to scroll more. Okay, we're gonna go into a really nice neutral color that is part of our mattes, and this is Butterscotch. I like Butterscotch and I like Bubba, but Butterscotch just has a little extra punch to it, a little more warm, and that's that. All right, so we're gonna use this as our transition color. And this is why I like having a really bright base that's very neutral to my skin tone, but I used Cupcake because it is lighter. Okay, so we're gonna take the white end. So this is a smudge brush. Yes, has a nice dense round end, and it has a flatter wide end. This is great if you have mature lids because it helps you with pressing things out, whereas a fluffier brush can sometimes just move the skin. We're gonna use the wide end. We're gonna go into Butterscotch, tap some off, and I'm just gonna put this up here. And having that bright base takes a lighter tone that's, I don't think that, it's not that it's super dark for me, but using that brighter base is gonna help these colors show. And I keep this on my brow bone and out past my outer corner. And then I can just use my finger to press and blend into that flurry that I put over here. And then over here I had that wintergreen. I can't believe I've been calling it Winterberry. Wonder which one is Winterberry. Uh-oh. All right, I'm gonna have to update my emails that's coming out in a couple days. All right, putting the same color on over here. If you have hooded eyes, which from the front, a lot of people say I don't look hooded, but from the side, this comes down all the way past my outer corner. It droops way down. So I make sure my transition shade is on above my crease, on my brow bone, and then out past my eye. And because I'm doing my eyeshadow first, I can bring this extra far out, and then I can clean it up. I can clean it up and press it around just like that. All right. I finally got to hanging up my pictures. They've all been leaning on this chair for years, like 2 years maybe even 3, I don't know. But I finally got it hung up, and I put little bows on them because it's festive. Okay, so we're just pressing this up and out. And sometimes I feel like a lot of people say you're blending for too long. Sometimes blending takes a while. And I feel like a lot of videos out there have a lot of editing that don't make you understand just how much blending there is. If you want a cohesive, nice blend, you gotta work at it. You want it good. And your eyeshadow does sometimes take longer than the rest of your face. All right, we're gonna take Butterscotch. We're gonna put it down. I think that's really pretty fall. color, great for Thanksgiving. It goes with a lot of things like woodland. So I'm going to go into woodland first, and I'm going to use my finger. This one has a lot of different shades in it. You see that warm orange, has a little bit of a champagne in there, a dark brown, but all this shimmer. It's very bronzy, but very brown. Okay. And I'm going to just use my finger to apply it first. You can scuff this too. Sometimes the oils of your finger can create a film over the top. So if you ever notice your shadows are hard to pick up with your finger, especially the shimmers, look at how pretty and perfectly bronzed that is. Just give it a little scuff and it'll pick up a little more. And I'm going to press this all over my lid and out. Sometimes your finger is just better. Brushes can pick up so much, but you can really get a good transfer when you use your finger. And I like a good gradient fade that puts that bronze all over my lid. Scuff it up a little bit. And then over here, just smearing it all over. Just be pretty haphazard. And remember, we haven't done our face, so we get to clean it all up. But you don't always need a brush. Then I'm going to take this round end. I'm going to grab a little more, and I'm going to press this onto that outer part of the eye and work it over. This is going to knock off some of the excess, but also build up this outer corner. Building up out here, this is going to give your eye a little bit of lift, and then pressing it into the crease and onto that base by holding the brush straight up and down. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, okay? And then we can take what's left, and I can use this big wide end, and I can make a nice smoky eye with this by just bringing this down. And again, doing our eye makeup first means I can make this really thick, and then I can customize the thickness of my smoky eye on what I want. Okay, putting that back in, I'm gonna go wipe my hand off. And we're gonna go into Flurry next. Flurry is just gonna add a little bit of spotlight to the mid of the lid and lighten it up. The way it lays right on top of it is so pretty. And then this could just be your go-to work. This is the go-to work color. Easy peasy. Just adding that little spotlight of brightness is so nice. And then we can go and we're gonna do some fixing once the makeup's on. I'm gonna take a fluffier brush. This is the shape brush. This is primarily the brush I'm gonna be using today with the detail brush, but I've been really enjoying this brush because in the winter, I just sometimes don't think I need as much makeup because in the summer, my pigment really pulls forward from being in the sun a lot. Okay, pressing this around, and then my top pick lip color is what I'm gonna be finishing with today. All right, we are gonna go in and I'm gonna waterline with Saints pencil. This is a silk pencil, which means things go on really well and it sets. Just gotta get the lid off. All right, these can be a little tricky to play with, and so what I'm working with is just keeping this at a nice angle, and I use my brush to do that. There's two brushes that you can use. I need a seat cushion in my chair, and I've moved my chair a lot because I had to make a video and move stuff. Okay, I'm gonna use our endpoint brush. All right, and I'm gonna get this taken care of. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna take this endpoint brush. It's really nice because you can have a lip side and an eye side. And I'm gonna take and I'm going to press this in a downward motion around my pencil. And this is going to help keep it sharpened when I need it sharpened. And I like using this to get into my waterline. All right, we're gonna take this and we're gonna roll it onto, we're gonna set it on the bottom part of our lash. This is the best way I can waterline with a brush, and I get the definition. Then I'm gonna roll it onto my waterline and then pull. Roll it onto my waterline and pull, and this helps lift the lid so I don't poke my eye. But again, another reason why we do our eye makeup first. Grabbing some more, we roll it and waterline it, and this just helps fill it in between the lashes, so that when we put on our mascara, this is gonna give our lashes a really nice full look. And then I can get this here, down here on this lower waterline, right here. Just like that. What's nice about using a brush is it doesn't make it a harsh waterline, especially on the bottom, which can then close up the eyes. So again, we're just gonna roll it and pull. Roll, pull. We want to do this before it sets. So what's nice about a silk pencil is that they made a way for a pencil to go on really smooth, like silk. And then what happens is, no, Desiree, keep going. What happens is it sets. And so it can go on smooth and it can set. And I really like, I haven't found anything that really goes on as smooth as these silks that they can be used on a brush, but they can also be used on the pencil. And you can easily make this more customizable when you have a pencil that can be easily put onto a brush. I just haven't found anything that goes onto a brush as easily as these. All right, I'm gonna use a liquid liner. I need to get a new one. This is Stila Stale. They just don't get the magic wand. And we have, this is by far the best liquid liner that I have used. And it has a really nice felt tip that has a little give to it, but it's not flimsy. And so you can get a nice defined eye. And I'm gonna go on the inside here, and I'm gonna have it match my lashes, matching my lashes. And I'm not gonna go all the way across. So I'm gonna be able to have a more open eye, and I'm gonna be able to bring it across and then up by skipping the middle, and then we're gonna go about a quarter of the way out, and we're gonna go straight out. So it's gonna come off of the lashes. Do you see that little, this is what I call a tiny but mighty. And you can take it and you can pull it out. And then from the bottom, you can bring it up, and you wanna create your outline first. If you go right on your lashes, it can be a little more jagged, but this is gonna help you with a lot of control. And having a super small brush is very nice, because then you could just use that fine tip to create a wing that's gonna help your eye have a little more lift. You see how this eye now has a little more of a sharpness, definition, and a lift. You can do that with just adding some eyeliner. Okay, so we're just gonna be stamping this and filling it in and coloring it in last. Can you tell my kids are cleaning their bathroom? Love no school days. And then I can have this little tiny wing that's gonna have, it's gonna do more than one thing. It's gonna give my eye some definition, it's gonna fill my lashes, and it's gonna give me some lift. Ladies, thank you. Same thing over here. We did that inner lash line. Now we're gonna go to where I kind of start at my highest point of my curve of my lid, and everybody's is different. So I start just outside of that, and then I am again just gonna pull straight out. That's gonna give that eye the illusion of a lift, and then coming out above that outer corner just a little bit, about a millimeter higher. Those little millimeters in certain circumstances really make a difference. And then we again just fill it in. But having a small, if you're looking for stocking stuffers, because I talk about this every Monday in November. Stocking stuffers, it's the small things that make the best presents sometimes, but these are skinny and they slide right in, they can spill out, because I believe a stocking shouldn't just be filled where you can't see what's in it. You should have things, those things need to be chocked full of goodies. There's enough room in there for everything. And you should have fun little things poking out of the top, like a little eyeliner pencil. But you should be filling your sock. If you're ever disappointed in your sock, no one's gonna tell you in your house that you have to return what's in your sock, because it's from Santa and those things can't be returned to the North Pole. All right, I'm gonna add my mascara. We're gonna get into my nitty gritty of why I do what I do. My nose is so itchy this morning, and I am so very tired from a Girl Scout camp out. We did not get sleep. Okay, I need to fix my liner because it's doing two different things. I can see that now. This one has a little more, and this one has a little more. So we're just gonna make them match. They're sisters, not twins, but they sometimes just do two different things. Eyes are hard. Eyes are hard, but I can make that work. Bam, they match much better. Just gonna add a little extra right here. There we go. I had to hide a little goof that I can see that nobody else would really see. All right, we're gonna use FanFest by Benefit. Keep an eye out. Black Friday's coming. They're probably gonna discount this. I am gonna have a email that comes out with all of my beauty top picks. That's gonna have things with Saint, some things with Beauty Society, some things with other brands. They don't reach out to me, but these are things that I use all the time. And if they're on sale, I'm gonna tell you about it. All right, we're gonna go in, and I like a volumizing mascara. So I want something chunky on my spoolie. We're gonna go into the base of our lashes and we're gonna wiggle those lashes into that brush. And then we're gonna lift. And this is gonna add a lot of product to the base of your lashes. And if you blink and get it underneath, that's okay. All right, but you really wanna get to the base of those lashes. Don't do the blinking thing. We don't need to do that. You just need to get it into the base and then lifting. Just like that, just to build it up. And then before things get super tacky, I know a lot of people like to wait for it to tack and build on top. You can create some real chunk on that, and that doesn't always look great. Makes you just look like Halloween lashes, like you're a tarantula. All right, so we're just building on top of that product at the base of our lashes until you start noticing it's getting tacky, and then you need to stop. And then we start building from the top down. Okay, so we've built this up, and this is gonna give the illusion of full lashes. My eyeliner looks like it goes all the way across, my lashes look fuller. Then I'm gonna come down from the top, roll and pull, roll and pull. And this is gonna coat the tips of the lashes and give length. You don't have to go and buy a bunch of fake lashes. I feel like the faux lashes may be going out, but this is gonna add that length and just building on top of product before it gets super tacky. And that's gonna give you longer lashes. I'm trying to see if there's a way, if I have a light palette that I can use that is gonna show you the length that this can add with natural, I don't know how to do it. I can't figure this out. But coating the base and then building on top of that is key. And then you could just use the brushes. You can go and get a comb. Saint does have combs, and you can comb through if you feel like you have any chunks, but I've never noticed that as being a problem. So wiggling into the base is going to be the easiest way to just give that fullness to the lashes, because I don't know how long it takes you to put on fake lashes, but it takes me a hot minute. A hot minute. They're tricky little buggers, especially now that they're doing these glue from under lashes. So we're just wiggling at the base and building up product to give the illusion of volume. So I am 44, and I've noticed that as I start to mature, my lashes just get a little finer with maturity. I know I'm not old, but I'm not 20. I'm not 25. I'm not 30. And so I have things that are changing and they're not done. And one of those things is my lashes. And I just add the tiniest bit to my lower lash because I don't want it to look like a shadow. I want it to look like lashes. So I don't do that building on top of things. I just add a small light coating to the lashes. Otherwise, if you put too much on, it can look like a shadow, which is gonna make your eyes look a little more inset. Okay. And then this is gonna come together once this is on. It's amazing the way that this directly plays into this. So when you're doing your eyeshadow and you think this isn't good, finish your makeup first. A lot of people decide that their makeup isn't good here, but it's not done. And one directly plays into the next. Sometimes your hair looks better with makeup. Has anybody noticed that? I mean, I notice it all the time. Especially when I do the natural curl thing. Ugh. Okay, let's start with our makeup. I'm gonna be doing a hybrid because I do know Beauty Society is gonna have a Black Friday sale, and I do like to show liquid foundation with cream. So with Saint makeup, which is my primary makeup, okay? And it has high pigment, so it's 80% pigmentation. So contours, bronzers, and blushes, they are all of them are foundational coverage. So your contours get to work to cover. A lot of makeups out there, even creams, they have a higher pigment, but it's still half. So Saint is 80% pigmentation. Other contours, that are out there. Milk is one that I really like. It still doesn't have the same pigmentation. This one is called Stoked by Milk. It is a good one, but it's not $16 and $16. So I like when there's something that has a great price point, it fits in one place, and it gives coverage. That is why I like it. So I'm going to be using Beauty Society Liquid Foundation because I think you need one to play with the other. I'm going to be using just Alluring today because I'm getting fair. And I'm not going to be putting any of my correctors on. I'm going to let this stack with my contour and bronzer, and all of this by the end you're not going to see. I've got stuff. Okay, I've got hyperpigmentation, I've got old acne scarring, I've got redness around my nose, and I've got some bruising. Anyways, when you're working with discoloration, you don't have to make a trade. A lot of people take coverage and trade off texture for it. Like, oh, I've got everything covered, you can't see the stuff, but then you have a really thick and heavy makeup finish. Good skincare is going to help your makeup last. More isn't always better. Sometimes you just need, makeup will always look like makeup. It should look like good makeup. You shouldn't look like a birthday cake. And sometimes you have to stack a lot of product on to get it to stay. Sometimes you have to stack. If you can have your contour, your bronzer, and your blush work with the coverage, win-win. All right. I'm also going to use a traditional concealer with my eyes. I think traditional concealer is thin, so I am going to add a color to my under eyes that's going to help make this last, and it's also going to help make this not look crepey and accentuate the texture of under eyes. Under eyes are a texture. It's like a hammock. And so you need a good primer, you need a good skincare. If you need a good skincare, I use Beauty Society. There is a link in the description. You should take the quiz. There's a lot of skincares out there that don't work with oily, maturing skin. Beauty Society does. I've had skincare companies tell me I don't have oily skin because I'm maturing. And that's not true. I am very oily. And so for me, I have maturing skin, I have oily skin, and that can sometimes oxidize makeup. So I'm very careful about what I use, especially when my makeup started working against me, because I was using that stay all day makeup. I was trying to find waterproof stuff because I would go on a trip or I live where it's super rainy. And so I wanted makeup that wasn't going to move. I was making a massive trade-off and I was looking more mature and more washed out than I am. So I'm going to use Milk Hydro Grip. This is my favorite primer. I think it works really well with a lot of different brands. I think it works really well with a lot of different skin types. And I'm just going to start on my cheeks because this is my problem area. And then I'm going to go right here because I have a lot of problem areas there. And then I just spread this around, get it into all the places you need it. I don't typically put it on my under eyes, but everybody is different. Put it where you want. It's your face. And I want you to remember this because I feel like this is a conversation that's going to end up coming up here pretty dang soon. Makeup is for us and it's not for anyone else. So the way you wear your makeup, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. The way you wear your makeup should be what is true to who you are that's going to make you feel confident. And I say that because this weekend, it wasn't a guy, it was a kid that told me that the reason that I wear makeup, she decided to tell me why I wear makeup. The reason I wear makeup and the reason I do my nails is because I want to be perfect. And I have sat this girl down many times. Our nails are up to us. The length, the shape, the colors, the lack of color, that's for us to feel good. It's confidence we're looking for. And if makeup gives us confidence, that's for us. And if someone else doesn't like that, they don't have to do it. And that's it. Some people don't like steak, some people do. Some people don't like broccoli, some people do. It's all your preference on what you like. Some people like warm tones, cool tones, peach tones. It's your face. Do what makes you feel confident. We're not trying to be perfect. We're trying to feel our best. And if somebody comes in and tries to knock us down, because that's not for them. But the great thing is they don't have to wear the pink tones that you're wearing. They don't have to wear the makeup the way you're wearing it. They get to choose to do what they want with their face. So keep that in mind the next time you want to tell someone what they're doing. Okay, I'm going to go into Perfect 10. This has It's an oil-free, but I want you to pay attention to the way this is going to go on. I'm going to use a dense brush. This is Saints Buff brush. This is great for liquid foundation if you're a liquid foundation person. This is a oil-free, but it's not going to absorb into my brush. A lot of watery foundations are just going to soak right in, and then you lose the product, which means you're losing product here because you're adding, okay? And this also has age reversing skincare in it. Just because skincare is in your makeup doesn't make it your skincare. So you need to take care of your skin you only got one skin, okay? All right, I'm gonna pump this onto my brush, and I just do about 3/4 of a pump, but it doesn't immediately drain into my brush, which a lot do right away, but this is also gonna sit, and I'm gonna let this sit for a minute just to show. I'm gonna go into my Saint palette, and I'm going to use 2 products. I'm going to pull them out because I'm trying to not take this out of shot. I'm going to use balm first. This is like chapstick, but I like that it clicks into my palette. I'm going to grab some of that balm on my finger and put this under my eyes just for a little extra hydration because I have that soft tissue. So you got your orbital bone, you got your eyeball. Woo! I have my bag falling off. Don't use tape. I tried a command strip and it wouldn't stick to my bag. Anyways, so that's going to fall off. Anyways, we're going to add hydration to our under eyes because this is soft tissue. There's nothing underneath it like the orbital or the eyeball. So this right here is a texture. I can't get rid of it, but I don't want to enhance it. All right. This is still sitting on top of the bristles. All right, pushing this on, and I'm just going over all that soft tissue. This is going to add hydration. If you have dry under eyes, if you have dryness around your nose, this balm is great for prepping there. It's also really nice for your lips. And then if you don't like shimmer, but you want that illumination and you're using a matte makeup, get the balm and you can use it to illuminate your skin in a dewy way. All right, next I'm going to go into the color. Oh, I hear it falling. I hear the tape breaking. That's why I was late. Okay. I'm going to take Frenchie that has a hair stuck to my finger. There we go. Sorry, Frenchie, not pumped off. Okay, or sucked in or whatever. All right, this is Frenchie. It's a peachy tone, and this is going to help with my under eye darkness. So I'm going to put some on my finger, and we're just going to go under the eye into that trough and where that darkness is. And this is going to cancel that out, and this is going to help. The balm and this product are mixing together as I rub them together. But this is also going to create a great base for a traditional. This works great with Tarte, with NARS, with NYX, with all those brands, okay? Having a hydrating base is going to help you. All right, I'm going to take this, which is still sitting on top of the bristles, okay? And we're going to put this just on the beard. I don't need to bring it up everywhere. You don't have to turn, excuse me, your whole face one color with makeup as long as you have extra products like your contours and your bronzers that have that foundational coverage with it. That's why I like stacking them together, is because less can be more. But this has really great coverage and it has a soft finish. It's not going to have a matte finish and it's not going to have that 24-hour wear. When you have those two things together, you're going to have cracking. So if you have movement on your face, especially smile lines, you're going to get cracking, and it's going to settle into areas. This has movability, and we have maturing skin. There it goes. It's going to have movability. I'm really mad about that. You're going to have that. You need that movability. Otherwise, instead of seeing your skin, you're going to see where your skin is changing. And we don't want to accentuate it. We want to enhance our skin. All right, so we're just going to sweep this down and up. Just like that, okay? Put this on, and then you're gonna start pressing it. Pressing with a brush, I like more. We're gonna bring it down our neck, and this is gonna help with my rosacea that I have. This is gonna help with that balancing that I have. I let my face calm down from rubbing it, and I have that bit of rosacea, but I also have that scarring, and this is going to help. You're still gonna see the spots, but we're muting them with the foundation, and I'm gonna let what I lay on top of it give me my coverage. So this is balancing the lower part of my skin. It's giving me full coverage, but it's again gonna have longevity and movability because of my skincare, not because of this product. I want the movability. I want my skin to look like my skin. I wanna have my skin's texture show. I like when my skin texture shows because your skin texture should be an accessory to your makeup. That's what's going to give you that illumination. And now my redness is muted. You can still see my stuff, but it's giving me a good even skin tone. That's all your foundation should be doing, is evening your skin tone. Your concealer can be your extra coverage, and then your contour, and then your bronzer, and it's all good. But with skin, there's textures. You know, I watched a little girl, I'm going to use this weekend a lot, a different girl, there was a lot of us there. She couldn't find a broom, so she grabbed the dustpan. It was pulling her pile with it. But like our skin, it has grooves like a wood texture. So while she was doing that and sweeping over the texture, all the little pieces were going into it and it wasn't getting picked up. Going into this is going to help with those textures to keep doing it. And then you end up seeing all the little dirt and all the little crumbles in the little textures. This is going to let everything work together by stippling it. Sweeping over it is going to enhance the texture. Stippling onto it is going to help enhance the texture. Does that make sense? Let it get in and let it shine through. Okay, now I'm going to go in with my concealer. So I used Alluring for my Perfect 10 foundation. If you want to color match, send me a makeup free picture. I can color match you to anything that I'm using today. And I'm going to look at all the stuff in your skin. There is a form in the link. Okay, this is Incognito. I'm using shade 2 and I'm having this be a little too light for my skin. You don't need this kind of product to put on your skin. Again, less is more. You can always come and get more. I'm going to put some right here in the middle. This is too light for my skin. This is meant to give you some coverage, but it's also meant to give you that dimensional look. Our face isn't one-dimensional, so let's stop putting our makeup on to make ourselves one-dimensional and then restructure. Okay, I'm going to go right here. This is going to look like reflecting light. And then right here, I'm going to enhance my Cupid's bow because it's pretty. I'm going to skip my nose because I'm going to come back to it. And then I'm going to grab just a touch more and I'm going to give myself some coverage over my scarring. But then I'm going to go into this smile line and up this orbital bone, clean up some of that shadow. And then I'm going to go into this inner trough area. Lightness is going to pull out the way that darkness pulls in. So I'm going to give myself some lift under my eye, but I'm not putting anything within that trough. All right, grab a little more, giving myself some coverage right here, going into that smile line. I can go, order doesn't matter, placement matters. Into that trough, onto that darkness, going up the orbital bone and up like this. It shouldn't be goopy and thick. It's too light for my skin. You can see it, and we're gonna let this work together. So the other nice thing about this, so Incognito is also full coverage and it has anti-aging in it, which is great for around your eyes. A lot of products like Tarte don't have movability. And again, I'm gonna really push in movability. Creams work well with movability, but if you're gonna be using traditional concealers, you don't want it to set and stiffen. Whereas Tarte, NARS, NYX, they have a setting to them because I think it gives you all day wear. Your skincare should be giving you the all day wear. Your primer should be giving you the all day wear, not the makeup. It's gonna look heavy, it's gonna look thick, and your makeup should look like good makeup, not just makeup. All right, it'll always look like makeup, but it should look good, okay? It should make you feel good when you walk by a mirror in an hour. You should feel good. You shouldn't have to have it sit and let it acclimate. It should just look good, and that's it, okay? So I'm gonna take this brush, and what's nice is I'm letting this sit, and with other concealers, it would start to thicken and stiffen. This has the movability, so if I find that I've put too much on and there's creasing or cracking, you can reset it with your finger. I'm gonna take this big end that I was using, and we're gonna go right in to this upper area, and we're just gonna blend it out over the brows and over. I do my brows last because this is where I start messing them up, but it should look a little too light because that reflection is now enhanced right here. Same thing on the chin, light reflects off the chin, so just press it out, and the Cupid's bow is raised, so it'll reflect light, and it should be enhanced now. This is probably one of my favorite places to enhance just using a lighter shade. All right, I'm gonna switch to the smaller end of this brush. This is such a good brush. If you like your traditional makeup and you want a good brush for foundation and concealer, this is it because you get 2 in 1. All right, we're gonna grab this small end. I'm gonna stipple over my apples. This is gonna help with my larger pores with the stippling. And then I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna get that cleaning up area here, This is gonna give me some extra lift. Then I'm gonna go into this inner corner, and I'm not even on the soft tissue. Then I'll pull this over to that soft tissue. The soft tissue should be the last place you're blending all of your under eye product, because if you take it from the gunk to the soft, it's gonna accentuate, not enhance. And so we're going to be accentuating texture if we put too much product on that soft tissue, because it's loosey-goosey, because there's nothing holding it underneath. Same thing over here, just stippling over this little scarring area, going up into that inner corner. The shape of this brush helps you get into so many different nooks and crannies, and it's a soft brush, so this doesn't hurt. And then the soft tissue last. Then the soft, does that make sense? I hope. Here's the thing, there is no wrong way to apply makeup, but there are ways that work really well and can sometimes work better. But try the different ways. It's makeup. It washes off if you don't like the way that it applied. It washes off if you want more coverage in certain areas. Texture is texture, though. You can't make a mountain a plane. You can't change the texture of your skin, but you can make it look worse by adding too much product. Okay. And my under eyes are under eyeing today because I haven't slept all weekend. I'm going to put this away. That's all we need for that main foundation. And then I can go in to my bronzer and contour as foundation and my blushes. And I'm going to be using this under eye Frenchie for more. Okay, I'm going to use the shape brush. This is a great fluffy, light to medium coverage brush. And this is going to help you not over apply makeup, especially high pigment makeup. 80% pigmentation in this palette, whereas traditional sticks have 40%. They have half the pigmentation. So you'll have more product, same look. We don't want that. All right, we're gonna take this, I'm gonna pinch it just to make it a bit more dense, and I'm gonna go into my contour. This is the color Cedar. Cedar works really well for hyperpigmentation to help camouflage as well as bruising. All right, so we're gonna take this and I'm gonna go right on the perimeter of my face, and we're just gonna go over it. I think I hear my husband. All right, it's everybody's day off today. Oh, all right, grabbing some, and we're gonna go up into that hairline right here, and this is just going to be your shadow tones. And Cedar, again, I get hyperpigmentation that just grows up the side like ivy. And we're just sweeping this around like a normal shadow placement. We're going to the outer part of the brows, we're going down into the temple and working our way out. And then my hair gets combed back, and we're gonna take this small brush and we're gonna fluff this midway between my contour and that brightening concealer shade. And it gives you dimension, it gives you coverage, and it gives you balance, because we're not one color. We're multiple colors. And so having colors that work with your skin tones, that's why I like doing a custom color match. All right, I'm gonna go into my bronzer. This is Xanadu, and it has a touch of shimmer that can really help with that skin texture luminosity. I like Bella and I like Xanadu. Taking that brush, I'm just pinching it to keep it in the same shape as the tin. We're gonna put some on, not much. We're gonna go right here and right here. This is where we have natural warmth around the eye, and we're just gonna put this on, and it adds coverage, which is why we don't have to put so much makeup on. We can just put some makeup on and it packs its punch. Okay, bringing it around the eye just to add that bit of warmth, and it will work with my hyperpigmentation. I think that Xanadu is a bit cooler than our Bella bronzer. And again, everything clips in one color at a time, so your palette can have as much of what you want out of it. Okay, I'm gonna go back into that Cedar, and we're gonna go just above our natural shadow here. I go right on my cheekbone, and we're just gonna go up and down, and it's going to give us some nice shadowing. And you can make this as sharp as you want, or as just as easy, just to help with the rounding of the cheek. Everybody's preference on placement of contour is completely up to them. You can make this extra sharp. You can pinch it, and you can go right into it and make it a really good sharp contour if you want, or you can make it more blended and rounded. It's entirely up to you. Your makeup, your choice, you get to wear it the way you want to wear it. And I always liked growing up finding magazines and finding looks and then taking my makeup and trying to recreate it. It made it fun. Makeup should be fun or we're doing it wrong, okay? All right, I'm gonna use my ring fingers. These are the weakest fingers. So these are the ones you wanna use on your face. I'm gonna go into that contour. I put them on, they're nice and brown, and we're gonna go down the top sides. You just wanna get things nice and straightened out. I don't do the curve up here. I don't have a natural one. I feel like it doesn't. Everybody gets to contour their nose the way they want. I'm trying to make mine a little slimmer and straighter because I have a bump. So I just tap that in. I'm gonna take this brush, I'm not gonna add any to it, and I'm gonna pinch it, and I'm just gonna tap it, push it into my natural brow shadow. We're just gonna tap this, and then I bridge it together. So easy. Get the tip, bring it around, and just blend it together, and then we're gonna add some brightening just to bring this together, okay? So you can turn the whole nose brown. I don't recommend putting product all over the nose, just put it in your general areas and then blend it outward. I'm gonna take my incognito again. We're gonna wipe off the excess, we don't need a lot. And I'm gonna go right down the middle. I find tapping helps, okay? That's it, and then we can just sweep it back and forth. And this is gonna give us that brightening, reflecting light, because it's a little bit too light, but it also straightens the nose right out and you can't see my bump. That's good. If you have a crooked nose, this is also a really great way to help with that. Okay, I'm gonna grab a little bit more with that ring finger. I'm gonna go right there. And I'm gonna create a shadow because I don't do the lip filler thing. I do the shadowing thing. It's tempting, I'm not gonna lie, it's tempting. I got an offer the other day for somebody that said, do you wanna try it, be a model for this lip filler and I'll give you, and I was like, nobody needs it that much. Okay, so we're gonna take some of that incognito. I almost grabbed my brightening from here. Maybe next week I'll do all saint because it's so good too. And we're gonna add 2 dots on either side of our mouth right here. And then we're gonna use our little ring fingers again and we're gonna tap this out. This is gonna give us contrast and structure on our lips. Because as we mature, things start falling. That's why we have those tiny but mighty wings. That's why we work in an upward motion. We add that stuff up here. Doing little things is better than doing big, expensive things. You know? Okay. Going into the blush. I like everything to have a purpose. And all that scarring and stuff that you saw is reducing, reducing, reducing. But again, everything in here is an additional foundational coverage. I'm gonna go into this Frenchy color I used under my eyes, and I'm gonna go over the bits of scarring I still see on my apples, and I work up that cheekbone. You can really see it on this side, and we're gonna go up that cheekbone. So when you mature, you lose volume. You know, can't see these little apples when you're resting, you know, the resting face. And so I add it to the apples because I don't want to have a punchy color on my apples because then when I'm resting, it just kind of looks funny. Then I'm going to go into my favorite fall color, Rosewood, and we're going to go up here. This has a little bit of a pinky orange and it's warm, it's cozy, and I like it. All right, we're going to take this fluffy brush and we're going to start at the top. We're just going to smile so we can see all that natural shadowing and curving so we know where everything goes. I bring mine up my temple, and then I bring it down. I never do coverage at the beginning. I always apply my full face and then I start tapping and adjusting things. And it's that simple. Movability. Creams blend better because powders tend, just like with the eyeshadows, when you're putting one thing on and then you add a powder, it tends to stick and become harder to blend. So having a cream over top, I think is better, especially when you have skin that's just not doing what it used to do. My makeup stopped working with me. Okay. My kids are all over the place today. Okay, yay for no school days. Now we're gonna set it and then we can go on to the next stuff, but I don't address any coverage. So like this little bruise I have up here, it needs coverage. I do it all at the end because I never know if one thing's gonna correct. Have you seen that red lip trick? Where you put the red lip on and it just distracts from everything else. Good morning, Karen. Hey. Okay, I'm gonna set it. I'm gonna use, there's 2 kinds I like. I'm waiting for a Black Friday deal for this one. This is $50 for this size. This is Blue Marble. It's a film forming spray and I love it. And I'm hoping Black Friday has a deal because this is my favorite setting spray, especially if you have oily skin. If you have more dry skin, Beauty Society has one called Set It Up. And then Saint has one, the Plush and Prep Mist is my favorite. And it's really great for when you have dry to balanced skin. All right, but today, because I'm oily, and I'm out of Blue Marble, I'm going to use Benefits Professionals. I really like this one, and the mist on it, it's so nice. Get your face damp. You want it to feel a little bit damp. And then again, because I'm oily, I'm going to take this fluffy brush. I'm going to go into blotting dust. Here's my picks for setting powders. You want something that has this going on because it works with the skin texture, and it's not going to make you look like a chalkboard. My other favorite is the Laura Mercier. This loose powder, if you like loose powder, that's the one to go with. I've tried a lot, and those are my favorite. Those are my top two, the only ones that I use. I'm gonna take my setting powder, and on my low texture areas where I'm gonna start, and then I'm gonna bring it into my high texture. So I always start on the outside and I work my way in, but because it had that sheen to it, it's gonna let my skin skin. And then I go to my high texture areas, which is right here. But I really like to focus this on my high oil area. So I want this to look luminous, not greasy. So I start on that temple area, I bring it down because my phone hits here. And you can't really see this texture. Then I come down and I start setting my under eyes and my bigger pores and my crease area. And I still have that dewy finish, but it doesn't have that greasy finish because I start getting oily quick, but I want my makeup to last. So setting it for me is important because I'll be greasy so fast. And if I don't need to add more makeup on, if I start looking greasy, all I do is I'll either grab a brush with nothing on it and I'll just start tapping it out and letting it absorb into the brush, or I'll get a blotting paper. One of those two things is all that I need. I don't need more makeup. The solution is never more makeup. Especially if you're just noticing that you're getting oily. That doesn't mean more. That doesn't mean add powder. If you add more powder on top of your set makeup and your skin is getting oily, it's gonna thicken the powder and it's gonna ruin your makeup. It's gonna give it that thick, powdery, cakey look. Powder will always change the consistency of your makeup. It's powder. That's what it does to gravy. And so keeping that in mind. I really hope they haven't let the cats in. Okay, I'm gonna do some brows and then I'm gonna put my favorite lip on. I'm gonna use one of our pencils. I really hope that they put our pencils on sale. So this is another silk pencil, so it goes on the brush well and then it transfers onto the face well and then it sets. I'm using Latte. It kind of reminds me of Woodland. It has a bit of a sheen to it, but it doesn't transfer that onto my brows. I'm gonna use an angle brush. I'm gonna use this angle brush because my spoolie isn't as gross. But we're gonna take a nice pointy end. We're gonna comb our hairs in place. I like a little definition to my brows, and I need to add some stuff to my brows because they are a bit on the thinner side. So what I like to do is I like to give them a shape first. So I'm gonna grab an angle brush, grab some of my pencil, and I'm gonna start, I need a mirror. I need a mirror up close because this is hard. Okay, we're gonna grab it from the inner corner and we're gonna give a defined corner here. Right here, and hi, Joe, and then right here. And we're just creating where my lashes are thin, or not my lashes, my brows are thinner. We're just gonna give them some shape and then we're gonna go up, over, and we're gonna just go along the lashes. You wanna stay within the hairs on these, and then I extend my tail just a little bit. All right, you tried using the satin pencil to line your lips and it came right off when you put on the gloss. You've gotta give it time to set. You gotta give it time to set and then it can, but you should blend it a little bit and then put on the gloss once it sets. But I do know that sometimes it can thin it, but I get a lot of longevity when I use it as a lip liner. Drawing this, I'm gonna go a quarter, I stopped explaining. A quarter of the way in, we're gonna go up, we're gonna go over, and then we're gonna come out and we're gonna match that tail. I get really thin in this area here, and then I could go in and I could start adding little flecks of hair strokes, little flicks, all those things, and then it can start blending in before it fully sets. And then you can start filling in. Then you grab your spoolie and give everything a final blend just to smooth the lines and put the hairs where you want them. I find using a pencil can sometimes help hold those hairs, but if you ever feel that you're doing your makeup and you don't want to get the, I know there's waxes and there's clear mascaras, so I always recommend hairspray. I learned this trick in August and it was kind of a game changer because you already have hairspray. So put it on the spoolie and then comb it in and your hairs will stay just fine. I have pretty short hairs, so I don't need it. All right, going into this little guy here and doing the same thing over here. We're gonna give our corner a definition. And I bring mine in a little more than my inner corner because I want to elongate my eye. All right, and then we're gonna finish this line, just going into those hairs, bringing it outward, and then finishing. Quarter of the way in, again, following that natural growth of your hairs or wherever you want it. If you find that your brows are even thinner than mine and you want some definition, go get a stencil and you can use a beauty blender and these to stencil those brows. And then adding those little hair strokes. Bing, bing, boom. Easy peasy. Filling it in, adding those little hair strokes, and then use the spoolie just to smooth things out. We need to add a little definition right here. How am I doing on time today? Oh, I'm not so bad. Usually, last one was a doozy. I admit that. I was like, nobody's gonna make it through that thing. That was almost 2 hours. Okay. All right, here we go. Going in. We're gonna put this away and now I'm gonna add my lip color. I'm gonna use the color Plum. This is a, let's see, the colors I've used so far are silks. We're gonna go into a satin, which don't set. And I'm gonna use the color Plum. It's been a favorite. It's really, really pretty. And it has a redness to it. And then I'm gonna use an old favorite that I just haven't grabbed enough of, and that's Sadie. I got a lot of compliments on this. This is a really pretty fall lip. And again, it fits right into the palette and it has a lipstick texture because it has a gloss to it. You're gonna line your lips. I like the pencils for lining lips better than using a brush. And I'm just gonna stay on the edge of my lip. I don't outer line my lips. That's what that shadow does, is it gives you that full look, but you still get to stay in your lip line so you don't get that ridiculous outer lined look, you know? All right, get that corner and you're gonna fill in the corner. Same over here. Boom. Okay, on your lower line, you wanna come in. You could see there, I can go out here or I can hop in just a little bit and go on that inner lip line. That's what you wanna do. And then meet your lip line on the fishy face part of your lips. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, with the gloss. Oh, this one with glosses it goes with everything. Okay. Down and around. Coloring in that inner corner, and then we're gonna go into Sadie. I'm gonna buff this out just a little bit. And you could use, you know what's another really pretty color that goes really well with this? Just gonna, is the Diamonds Are Forever. This lipstick is so sheer, but it goes on top of everything. So nice. It's a nice sheer pink that just goes on, and it's pretty. This is one of those colors that you can grab and you don't need a mirror to put on. You could just put it on with whatever you're wearing or nothing, and it looks so pretty just by itself, okay? This is one where you just keep it in your purse, take it out at the table, it looks nice, and you just put it on, and people will always say, what was that? I've had that happen at a table once where I was putting it on. So stinking pretty. All right, now I'm gonna go in with Sadie. Gotta open my palette. We're gonna pull Sadie out. This is a really pretty neutral gloss color, and it fits right into a palette. Everything is customizable into a palette. It'd be nice if you opened a palette and it was full of everything that you've always wanted to use. All right, we're gonna grab this, use our finger, and then you can put it on just like that. Absolutely lovely. There's no shimmer, no sparkle to it. It's just a nice neutral fall lip with Plum. So good. And then you can add anything you want on top of it. Okay, we're gonna go back into that new collection, and we're gonna take this little end right here, and we're gonna go into Flurry. Just tap a little bit. You don't need a lot, just a little bit, and then you could hit your Cupid's bow with it, and it puts a frostiness to your lip. Stunning. Take the bigger end, grab some of that Flurry, and you could go right around here and add a really nice soft shimmer. If you want to add a sparkly shimmer, I always start at my temple and I work it around. This is a really good high fleck area, and it just adds a really pretty sheen, and I pull it into the hairline. Then you could even take a little bit and go right on the tip of the nose, just like that. Super pretty, so it does more than one thing. So this could be your everyday go to work look, or you can go into your balm, grab some of that balm, and I'm gonna tap this right on the middle of my lid here. Right on the middle of my lid. I wanna add more, I want it wider. So we're gonna add a lot to the lid because I really wanna show this pretty winter green look. All right, you're gonna scuff it up. So you're gonna take this. This one is really, you could see that film. You wanna scuff this up. So just use your nail, use a spoolie, okay, scuff it up, and then you're gonna grab it, and we're gonna tap this on that balm. This is gonna give it something to stick to, and it's gonna take that look to a really pretty holiday party color. It's so pretty. I absolutely love it. You could keep it neutral and just do Flurry. You can buy these individually. So maybe you don't want this color. You just want these two. You can just buy those two and put them in your palette. You can get this collection and add a little more fun. You could also, I'm gonna try this with a small brush. I'm gonna grab this bad boy. This is just an eye shader brush, and I'm gonna take that scuffed area. I'm gonna pick up as much as I can, and you could easily add it right to this inner corner area and make your eyes just a little extra fun. To that scuffed area. And just instead of having a neutral inner corner, you could just make it pop. Grab some more of that and then put it right on that stuff. Scuff it up some more if you need to. And then put it on the mid with it. And you could really just jazz it up. And so you can get multiple different kinds of looks with this collection, and it's available on the 15th. I'm able to finally talk about it today. Need to just take and just clean some things up. But you can make multiple looks with just this collection. You can keep it super neutral. I really like, if you wanted to get just one out of this collection, I would absolutely get this. This is the perfect bronzy tone. If you're looking for a really pretty bronzy brown, this one's it. Grab it, and you could even punch this up a little bit. Add a little more. Look at how pretty that is. It's such a pretty, easy, neutral brown that has the perfect bronziness that works with mature lids. A lot of mature women have a hard time finding a shimmer that works, but the maturity of your lid helps punch up the fleck of that color. It's so, so, so pretty. All right, I'm gonna grab a little bit of I'm gonna use a cream. This is my Summer Shade Hazel, and I'm gonna tap this over that little bruise right here. Then I'm gonna grab a little bit of that bronzer. I'm gonna go right over top of it. And we're just gonna let this blend out and be covered. Boom. That's it, that's all you need. No powders, just put it on and forget about it. But two different kinds of looks using that little turquoise. A lot of people don't know what to do with those turquoises. You could add just a subtle middle point. You could do a bold inner corner. You could do a bold middle spotlight color. It's your face. Do what you want. You could also decide, I don't like turquoise, and go get Tawanda and do this with Tawanda too. Really pretty for the winter. Cranberry is another really, really pretty color for the holidays to do the same combo with. So pretty. Cranberry is also great for under eyes. Keep your eyes out for Black Friday. Eyeshadows typically go on sale. Brushes go on sale. We haven't been told the sale items yet, but we do also have some new holiday releases coming out on the 18th. I can't talk about them until the 14th. So sorry, I'm not allowed to talk about them. Anyways, I'm able to throw hints out, but that's about it. But I have put some hints in today's live, and if you paid attention, then you've paid attention. Anyways, this is a fun little combo. You can get it on the 15th, or you can hold off and get it when you get your holiday releases. There's so many good things coming out in November. November is the best makeup month. That's when you could start planning for summer, you could start planning for all the holidays, and you could start planning for Valentine's Day. And remember those colors you love, get them on discount, get them when they're released. It's so good. And then don't forget, you earn points, so you could also cash out at our loyalty shop with points if you are a points collector, because there's exclusive items in that little section that you can't just buy. All right, that's my Monday Live. I will be back next Monday without kids in the background, and I almost want to say I'll be able to talk about things by then. I don't know what the date will be on Monday because I don't have a calendar in front of me, but stay tuned. I'm going to be rolling things out in shorts later today. I'm going to have another look with this collection come out, so that'll be coming out. Turn on notifications, please subscribe, please follow, do all the things. There's a link in the description if you want to join my Facebook group. It's a ladies group only, and have a great day.